When you speak, you are engaging a complex biological machine. Your lungs push air upward, vibrating your vocal cords, while your mouth and tongue shape those vibrations into unique, recognizable sounds. For centuries, inventors tried to replicate this physical process. In the 1700s, devices like Wolfgang von Kempelen's speaking machine used mechanical bellows and keys to mimic the lungs and throat. These attempts failed to sound human because mechanical parts could not match the subtle physical nuances of a living mouth. By the 1920s, the approach shifted from physical bellows to electrical signals. At Bell Telephone Laboratories, Homer Dudley developed the vocoder, the first system to translate speech into rudimentary electronic impulses. This technology made its major public debut at the 1939 World's Fair. Audiences heard an electronic synthesizer produce intelligible, yet highly robotic-sounding words. These mechanical and electronic attempts shared a common limitation. They were designed to replicate the physical mechanics of speech. Achieving a truly realistic voice required a shift toward decoding the underlying mathematical patterns within the sound itself. That transition began in the 1980s. Researchers at institutions like the Massachusetts Institute of Technology introduced systems that used mathematical models and linguistic rules to generate speech with greater accuracy. Modern artificial intelligence changed the objective. Using deep learning, these models separate the audible characteristics of speech from the physical requirements of the human body. This diagram illustrates tokenization. The system breaks a continuous audio waveform into hundreds of discrete mathematical values. These tokens represent attributes like pitch, tone, and duration. By converting audio into these data points, the AI identifies the rules governing a person's speech patterns. Because your voice is now a collection of digital tokens, it is no longer secured by your physical biology. This data can be captured and rearranged, allowing a model to generate new audio that retains your specific vocal identity. Modern voice cloning relies on a deep learning framework known as an encoder-decoder architecture. First, a voice recording enters the encoder, compressing the audio into a dense numerical representation of unique vocal traits. That numerical block moves into the decoder node, reconstructing the data into a newly generated waveform mimicking the target speaker. To refine this voice, developers use a two-part AI called a generative adversarial network, or GAN. The generator creates synthetic speech, while the discriminator critiques its realism, constantly adjusting its output until differences are minimized. This feedback cycle allows AI to move past stilted synthesis toward a replica that is difficult for a human listener to distinguish from the original source. Since voices are now treated as replicable data tokens, they present an immediate security challenge. While video deepfakes are still evolving, audio clones are currently being deployed with high frequency. Requiring very little source data, these voices are already appearing in fraudulent calls to bypass voice-based authentication systems. Public figures are particularly targeted. Fabricated audio spreads in minutes, misleading audiences during elections or crises. For private individuals, the risk is incredibly personal. Scammers use cloned voices to impersonate trusted family members or colleagues, using the familiarity of a voice to cause financial or reputational harm. Without the biological safeguard of a physical presence, we must find new ways to verify the identity and truth of the audio we hear. However, treating a voice as flexible data also creates new possibilities for human benefit. Voice cloning expands the capability of web-based assistive technology, providing inclusive speech options for those with accessibility needs, or to help individuals regain a personal voice they may have lost. In education, developers use these models to build adaptive tutoring systems. These provide personalized instruction in multiple languages, tailoring the educational experience to a student's specific needs. It also provides a method for historical preservation. Museums can use cloned voices to bring historical figures to life, creating immersive cultural experiences that were previously impossible. When applied with clear ethical standards, tokenized speech serves as a mechanism for democratizing information and widening the ways humans connect with digital content. Despite generating audio with high intelligibility, current AI voice systems are not yet perfect replicas of human speech. Digital models often struggle to capture spontaneous emotional nuance. The results can sometimes sound robotic or lack the subtle inflections that humans use to convey mood and intent. An algorithm can map the structural data of a voice, but it does not yet possess the unpredictable emotional complexity found in a living person. The presence of synthetic media is forcing a rapid response from legal and ethical frameworks to prevent its misuse. Federal regulators are currently investigating these risks. Agencies like the FCC are determining how existing laws, such as the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, can be used to regulate AI-generated impersonations. Some technology companies are prioritizing ethical standards by implementing strict consent mechanisms. These policies ensure that voice data is used only with permission and can be deleted upon a user's request. Ultimately, public awareness is the primary defense. Educating people to recognize the risks of synthetic media encourages them to verify information before sharing it, building a more resilient digital society. AI voice cloning is forcing us to redefine what makes a voice authentic. But with rigorous engineering and ethical oversight, this technology can be steered toward outcomes that enhance how we communicate.